Ukrainian specialists are studying debris from a new ballistic missile fired by Russia into the central city of Dnipro last week. Remnants of the weapon have been laid out in a hangar as investigators from Kyiv try to gain an insight into Russian military supply chains, production and how to respond with countermeasures. They say they've only been able to make preliminary conclusions and need more time to study the missile fragments.
We can only say that this missile is ballistic, moved along a ballistic trajectory, which was only affected by aerodynamic resistance, and it damaged civilian infrastructure and infrastructure facilities in the city of Dnipro.
Russia says it targeted a Ukrainian military facility with its intermediate-range hypersonic ballistic missile Oreshnik, which translates to hazel tree. The Kremlin says it's a warning to the West against supporting Ukraine in the war. Moscow says the weapon is impossible to intercept with air defences and has vowed to keep testing it in combat situations. The Ukrainian president is asking the West to help it respond to the threat.
We are conducting examinations and working with our partners to establish all the details and characteristics of this missile and to find a response to this Russian escalation. The world has air defense systems capable of defending against such things. We need to focus on this, all of us. Russia must feel that every step it takes to expand the war has consequences for it.
The top US diplomat Antony Blinken has arrived in Italy for a meeting of the group of 7 countries which have provided military and economic support for Ukraine since Russia invaded in February 2022. The Biden administration is trying to shore up support for Ukraine before the change of power in Washington. Donald Trump's pick for National Security Advisor says the president-elect is concerned about the escalation in fighting between Ukraine and Russia.
President Trump has been very clear about the need to end this conflict. And so what we're need to be discussing is who's at that table, whether it's an agreement, an armistice, how to get both sides to the table, and then what's the framework of a deal. And that's what we'll be working with this administration till January and then beyond.
In Russia's border regions with Ukraine, nets are being set up to protect properties from drone attacks. After the US and UK allowed Kyiv to use Western-supplied long-range missiles to hit targets deep inside Russia, and with North Korean soldiers training with Moscow's forces in Russia, Ukraine's allies say there are no red lines when it comes to support for the war-torn country.
By resorting to North Korean soldiers in his war of aggression against Ukraine, and who even more recently updated his nuclear doctrine. The firing of intercontinental missile is in the same order of actions, an action that is meant to intimidate, to create fear and agitation. We will not let ourselves be intimidated by Vladimir Putin.